everyone, hey all, welcome back to the channel once again, and you talk about how wonderful distribution is. We recently looked at the Netflix War for Cybertron Wave 3 Cheetor and the custom work I did on him. Well, today we're going backwards a little bit when we look at this guy. It is the Netflix War for Cybertron Wave 2 Bumblebee, and he's going to be our focus, along with a comparison with this guy, the KBB Hornet's agent, in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up. Please hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, and all of my social media links, all that in the description below. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube, become a channel member. And this is the new Netflix Bumblebee. And I wasn't sure how I felt about this guy, especially where I had Hornet's agent, and I got kind of hooked up with this version of Bumblebee thanks to friend of the channel Razor Bear. So, you know what, we're going to do a little bit of a comparative analysis as we review this guy. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And even though we just recently looked at Cheetor, we're going to go back now just a little bit and take a look at something from Wave 2 of the Netflix line, that being Bumblebee. This was sent to me by a good friend of the channel, Razor Bear, and this guy's a bit of an interesting enigma. But before we look at him, you know what we're going to do? That's right, that packaging comes first, baby. I mean, okay, cool. We have Bumblebee over here, very much like the way he looks in the War for Cybertron series on Netflix, as you would expect. Over here, of course, we have like the Earthrise type of artwork, and of course we have all of the images on back of the product where he's holding the long cannon thing. We know that the bits and pieces can go together to give you that big cannon. We've seen it with Hubcap, and we've seen it with Bug Bite, and we've seen it with Cliffjumper, and I don't know how many other uses of this mold we've had, if any, but we've already seen that before. Of course, he can take the back off and it becomes a shield. Okay, now you will notice though that this time on our shield we don't have a 5mm peg hole. What we do have is another diorama part. For anybody who did not see my Cheetor review, there doesn't seem to be, at least not in my Cheetor box, there was no part for diorama. It seems like that's done, I guess, with Wave 2, I suppose. They're big, they're bold, they're bright, they're instructions. Okay, so we have a few configurations for the parts that come with him. None of these are very true to Bumblebee. First thing to note is, of course, you can take off the back and put it in his hand as like a shield. You can put one of these blasters together with that back section, I guess we'll call it, the piece that opens up, that tends to store up underneath the car mode. And it has a little rectangular tab on the bottom of it, and it can kind of slot down into like the space here by his shoulder. You're going to lose the outward movement of the shoulder, but I suppose that you could do that if you really want to. You know, if that's something that you're inclined to do. I believe you can also use that rectangular tab on the side here, maybe. I thought that you could use this rectangular tab to put it in this slot here on the side. Hold on, let me see if I can do that. Oh yeah, man, and while I mentioned you could put it on the top and you would lose the outward movement of the shoulder, you can put it on the side here and retain the full outward movement of the shoulder, so that's nice. You can also put it in this peg hole on the back. Now, with the other uses of this mold, when you have the shield piece put on the back, there's a peg hole in there as well, so you can always store kind of everything on the back of this guy. You can't do that with Bumblebee. If you want to be able to store it on his back, you have to have the car part off as a shield, because there's no, again, there's no peg hole this time. Bit of a bummer, not gonna lie. So I'm going to take that off the back and this off the side and this out of his hand for now. This piece here comes off, and again, using this black peg, you can, presumably, peg that in there once again. But again, you can see right now we don't have a peg hole back here, right? So, like, little bit of a bummer, if you ask me, honestly. I would have, by now, I think, kind of expected that to be the case. And I mean, I suppose if you want at this point, like, you could still put this all back together and put it in his hand, you know, or you could give it to someone else, and you could always forget all about that and just give him this. This is a resin cast that Dragonfly did for me of Bumblebee's blaster that came in the Centurion pack. I don't have the Centurion pack because, best of my knowledge, it wasn't released outside of the United States. But I almost have a whole set that was done in a resin cast that I've customized. We'll look at that another time because I'm still waiting on a couple of parts. But Bumblebee could certainly hold that in his hand, and if you don't want him holding that in his hand, I mean, he can go on the side of his arm there, leaving his hand free. I think, though he comes with these other accessories, I think that really most people would be looking to do this with their Bumblebee. He only clocks in, though, man, at 54 grams with all of his bits and pieces. That is a small deluxe, man. Way too small for a deluxe, in my estimation. But, you know what? There's a lot of functionality that we've already looked at. We haven't even, like, you know, kind of done the transformation yet, which I'm not really going to show, because why? We've seen it. We know how this transformation goes. Nevertheless, before we see the vehicle mode, what we do need to do is a very interesting comparison. Here we have Bumblebee and the KBB Hornet's Agent. Both of these are fantastic Bumblebees, to be fair. The look at the two guys here, I mean, they scale well together. They both look very Bumblebee-esque. I feel like the Hornet's Agent looks more G1 animation accurate, both in his colors and in his kind of silhouette, but that is arguable. A lot of people will say no, the new Netflix offering is that kind of like Bumblebee du jour, so to speak. But when I look at both of these guys, because I like the brighter yellow for animation accuracy, I feel like that the Hornet's Agent is the one who takes the cake for capturing the look of the character more than the Netflix. I feel like the darker color on the Netflix is closer to like the masterpiece color that we got for like MP, what was it, 21? Or MP, oh, something, I don't know what it was in North America. 08, I think in North America, it's weird. But MP 21. And it's fine, it's just, I feel like that it's a deeper, more orangey yellow than I would like for Bumblebee. Again, that's arguable. Both of these are very good. The Autobot logo on the chest of the KBB, you can easily add an Autobot logo to the chest of Bumblebee. Of course, he does have one down on his foot. I'll say this, I think the feet of the Netflix one being smaller is actually nicer. I'll give credit where credit is due there. So, what about scores? Undoubtedly, it looks like Bumblebee. I think all of this on his torso is paint. I know down on his pelvis is paint. I think the rest is a mix of orange and black plastics. I think the face, of course, is silver paint. He does have taillights, which is also nice, and headlights, which is also nice painted in. Like, it's definitely Bumblebee. You know, is that, yeah, 9.5. You know, it's, while the silhouette is slightly stylized, it's no mistaking that this is Bumblebee. A lot of people wanted this for Bug Bite, and I totally get it. But apparently, word is that the contract with Volkswagen to use the Beetle is specific to the character of Bumblebee. So it couldn't be used for Bug Bite because that's not Bumblebee. That's what I heard. I don't know if there's any truth to it. 9.5 is a great start in terms of articulation. The head can go left. It can go right, not much up, a little wiggle up and down. The arms, of course, can go all the way around, out to the side. We have 90 degrees at the elbow. We have a, we have a bicep swivel. We have a wrist swivel. We have a waist. That's the one thing that Hornet's Agent is lacking, is a waist. I think that that's a shame for Hornet's Agent, but that's the one joint that it's missing. Leg all the way forward and way back. We have a thigh swivel. We have 90 degrees at the knee. And of course we have that sweet, sweet ankle tilt. It pretty much has everything that you would want for the size. Again, the only advantage that this guy has over Hornet's Agent is the waist. I'm gonna say if Hornet's agent has an articulation of say a 9.5, then this guy has an articulation of a 9.75 because of the waist. You know what? 10. Honestly, no. His articulation is pretty perfect. It's all you can want. Again, I think that the mass is too small for a deluxe, but we do have definitely a much higher parts count, and we do definitely have a fair amount of paint here. So I can understand some loss. I feel like we lost a little bit too much, but I could understand some loss. What about the transformation? Well, we've seen it 100 times, so we can go from our boy looking like this. And remember, so far, he's getting a 9.5 for his look. We're seeing a 10 for articulation. He's getting a 9.75. So that transformation for this guy? Well, the resulting car is very accurate to an actual bug. I mean, it even has the logo up right there, Autobot symbol, a ton of paint here, the nice molding on the bumper and the headlights and whatnot. Back here, the taillights. Now, this back bumper is soft rubbery plastic, and I feel like I really need to do a lot of work to get this guy together. I've never been a huge fan of this transformation, and I feel like B is the one that I'm struggling the most with it to get everything to line up. I don't know, 8 maybe. Like, it's okay. Honestly, here is our KBB Hornet's agent. Again, two very different vehicle modes. This one obviously highly stylized based on the kind of thrown out proportions of the penny racer look from G1 in that animation. So if you're looking for something highly animation accurate, then the KBB Hornet's agent might be the way to go. It is also about half the price of the Netflix lad. If you want a more realistic looking car, then the Netflix Bumblebee might be the way to go. Neither one is bad. I feel like this guy could be a little bit better. In this mode, while you could put all of the bits and pieces on that he comes with, again, if you want to use this blaster, you're going to struggle more to find a place really to store it. I can't really see one where it would store well in vehicle mode. He does roll like a champ, and his wheels are painted silver, so I like that. He was getting about a 9.75, an 8 or so for his transformation. Overall, I'm going to say Netflix B is a good B. Overall score of about an 8.5, 8.75. It is a dandy B. Maybe even an 8.85. Not perfect, but it is a very strong offering and will definitely look nice in anybody's collection for an iteration of this classic character. And here we are once again, and here they are, and there's an argument to be made for both of these guys. If you want a heavy cartoon aesthetic, and you're okay with not having a waist, this guy might be the way for you to go. If you want the maximum articulation and a more real-world car feel, then maybe this guy is the way to go. I do think that the kind of orangey yellow is a little less Bumblebee than the yellow, but that is obviously open to interpretation. It depends on kind of which hue of yellow you like the best. I do find that trying to tab everything in on this guy a little bit cumbersome, and I think the transformation of the Hornet's agent is a little smoother, but this guy definitely wins in terms of articulation. If for nothing else, because he has a waist. Otherwise, they're pretty comparable for the most part. I don't think that there's a bad choice. I think that this is a good Bumblebee. I think that that's a good Bumblebee. Bumblebees for everyone. Let me know what you think about the Netflix War for Cybertron Bumblebee. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us, and don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.